What is up, YouTube? My name is Adam and this is Brokeman Finance, a channel where we try to help you make the best decisions with your money, no matter how much or how little you have of it. Today we are talking about Hyliion and some updates that I think that you need to hear about. We're going to talk about some pros and we're going to talk about one con that's kind of a warning for any investor looking at putting their money into any company, and I'll explain that in a minute. But first, let's learn how to pronounce the company's name. Hyliion actually stands for Hybrid Lithium-Ion, and it is pronounced Hyliion. I was actually mispronouncing it for a while, and if we're going to put our money into this company, we should at least be able to say the name. Now, that's out of the way, let's move on. Tortoise Acquisition, SHLL, is the company that is merging with Hyliion. So over the past month, Hylion's share price has went up over 33%. And when I say Hyliion, I'm talking about Tortoise Acquisition Company, the company that's going to be merging with Hyliion in the next few weeks. Ticker symbol SHLL. Now, they've jumped up over 33%. But why? We're going to take a look at the second quarter's earnings, see if there's anything significant there. We're going to look at the latest Hyliion news, see if there's anything significant there. And there's one thing I want you just to be aware of and be leery of when it happens. And that's just not for Hyliion, but for any company. But we're going to get there in just a moment. But first, do us a favor, like the video and make sure you subscribe so we can continue bringing you more and more content and help you make better decisions about where you put your money. Now, let's take a look at some of the financials that just came out for Hyliion for the second quarter. All right, you can see the quarter one 2020 on the right and the second quarter, most recent quarter on the left. So the first quarter, the operating loss was 3.362 million. The second quarter was 3.428 million, so a little bit more lost. You see the interest expense, the difference there, a little bit more. Net loss was definitely a little bit more. You can see the net loss per share. Now, the cash at the end of the quarter, they did have 6 million, a little over 6 million in the first quarter, and down to 3.3 in the second quarter. Them burning through 2.7 million isn't very alarming to me. They're a new company. They're going to have to really burn through some cash, whether it's research and development or just trying to get their name out there, whatever it is. But they're going to go through some cash flow right now. Really didn't get into the revenue that much because, well, there just isn't that much of it. They're still a new company. As you know, they are just now starting to ship some product out. And so there's really not too much coming in right now. There's some pre-orders though, and there's some substantial pre-orders. I'm really not too concerned with the amount of cash that they have on hand right now. They're getting ready to be injected with $560 million from Tortoise Acquisition due to the merger. The deal in the merger is supposed to be finalized next month, and actually it could be finalized in the next few weeks. But over the past month, the share price has risen over 33%, and that is after being down almost 20% in July. Andy Card was some great news being added to the board for the company, but it's not 33% increase type news. Hyliion did have some more good news recently along with the approaching merger date. Hyliion and Dana joined together with ID Lease. ID Lease is a semi-truck rental company. They have more than 45,000 trucks at over 430 locations across the US, Canada, and Mexico. I'm not sure how many of these trucks will utilize the Hyliion technology, but I would have to imagine it's going to be quite a few. Not only that, but the real value, in my opinion, is going to be the amount of exposure Hyliion gets from all the drivers and the companies that will finally get a first-hand look at the Hyliion product. This is a win-win for Hyliion. This is what Thomas Healy, founder and CEO of Hyliion, had to say about their new partnership with ID Lease. Working with industry leaders like ID Lease and Dana is critical to introducing our technology to fleets throughout the country. The commercial transportation industry has reached a pivotal point where environmental impact is paramount to business success. Our hybrid system has the potential to transform diesel fleets, offering an immediate sustainable impact on a company's carbon footprint while delivering a positive return for their business. Another big advantage to remember is California, where the state will require 9% of all new commercial trucks to be electrified by 2024. That percentage is expected to increase year after year. And the biggest competitor to Hyliion in this market has been NKLA. However, people are quickly starting to trust NKLA less and less and Hyliion more and more, as am I. So that competition is not as competitive as it once was. And if Hyliion can emerge as a leader in this market, while NKLA is still trying to get their stuff together, that moat, that competitive advantage could widen even more. Usually when a share price jumps up really quickly, there was probably an investment institution or two or three pouring in a ton of cash, causing the share price to increase suddenly once the news gets out to all of us. Why? Because a lot of people follow the moves of these investment companies. But the problem is we're usually a quarter behind before that information is made public. So retail investors like me and you, we're always playing catch up. For instance, Falcon Edge just bought over 1 million shares. Cambridge Investment Research recently acquired 21,650 shares valued at $594,000 in the second quarter. Also, hedge fund Alberta Investment Management increased its stake from 375,000 shares to 850,000 shares in the last quarter. Once us regular investors get this news, we tend to get FOMO and think, well, if they're buying at such a big stakes and big amounts, well, maybe I should put my money in there too because, well, they're an investment company, so they know what they're doing, right? We see these investment companies piling money into the company, so then we do the same. That share price starts to drive upward. You have other people jumping on the bandwagon, buying more and more shares, continuing to drive that price up. Investment companies know that. They understand very well that they set the trends in the market. Now, I'm not saying that's what's happening with Hyliion, but it is something that you need to think about because there has been some institutional buys, which isn't uncommon, but if there's nothing else going on in the market, we have to be careful that that share price isn't being driven up artificially, because these institutions understand that level of influence. They buy shares at $15, we find out later, and then we drive that price to $30. They bail out once they feel that it's peaked, and then we're stuck watching that share price fall, because once those institutions sell off, what does that do to us retail investors? We begin selling off too, and now we're watching that share price fall, and the cycle continues. So please be very careful when you see institutions pour money into something, there's nothing else going on with the business, and you see that share price going up, because you could be getting set up for a pump and dump. Now, I'm not saying that's what's going on with Hyliion. This is just general advice for anyone on any company looking to make an investment, especially on any kind of startup, penny stock, anything that's getting ready to IPO, merger, etc. That's all the news I have right now for Hyliion. If you have any updates that you would like to share, or if you're bullish, if you're bearish on Tortoise acquisition and Hyliion, then please, by all means, leave me a comment in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. Again, I hope you liked the video, subscribed, and I hope you stay safe out there. Be careful with your money, and take care.